So Aeneas and Achates, his faithful companions, have been made in this like invisible bubble by Venus. Okay? So they are going like standing out over a ledge and watching the city as it's being built by Dido and her companions and Aeneas' men that got shipwrecked there before he got shipwrecked there. Okay? So this first part kind of like gives you some background, and then around 4:30 there's another great simile where Dido is compared to a queen bee. Okay, so did you figure out that this part right here is really ERUNT? Right? You did something right? There you go. Okay, and then we got accusative, right? So we got, meanwhile, they snatched up the road, not literally snatched up, right? Like they hustled along the road. Okay, and then we got ablative, right? And like on which the path showed. And now they were ascending the hill which overhangs the most of the city. Oh, no, it says overhangs, and this takes the dative. Overhangs the city the most. And they look at the opposite citadels from above. That's an adverb. He looks at. No, wait a minute. Because it all goes back to the hill. So the hill, which hangs over the city the most, and which faces the opposite citadels from above. Good catch, Madison. Okay, so Aeneas, our dear friend Aeneas, wonders at the mass, or at the structure. See, look down here in the anaphora, right? Okay, so this is like neuter nominative portal. So Aeneas wonders at the mass, and I think you got to use it over here again, like formerly huts. So this would be, it's neuter accusative. And he wonders at the gates and the noise and the pavements of the roads. Okay, so, you know, I don't know how much you know, like, so he, Augustus had a very famous building program. You might have heard, like, he founded a city of bricks and left it a city of marble. So, like, all the things that, like, he was trying to do to build the city, right? Virgil's talking about here kind of to, like, say, you know, that's what good leaders do to build a city. I think, maybe. That's, like, what you're supposed to do as a leader. Then we got the Tyrians. Okay, who are the Tyrians? Nope. They're not the Trojans. They're not the Sicilians. They are the Carthaginians. Okay? And literally this says, like, the burning Carthaginians stand. Okay? But I don't think this girl is on fire. Is that what you wrote? The burning Carthaginian stand?
No, she said Carthage. What did you say? Like a drug, you know.
Like a drug. Okay. It's like eagerly. If you're ardent about something, you're eagerly doing stuff. Okay? So you're going to say that the Tyrians eagerly whatever insto means. What does insto mean? Press on. Oh, stand? Yeah, I said stand. I thought somebody might have come up with something better. Okay, so we got okay, so these are like part of the Tyrians do this, part of the Tyrians do that. Okay. So these infinitives, see this infinitive, this infinitive, this infinitive, this infinitive, this infinitive, all depend on insto, which is why I want to look up insto here. No, they never have the words. Urge on. So it's like, you would say like part urge on to lead up walls. You know, part urge on. You don't have to repeat it in your translation every time, but that's what's happening. Part urge on to lay or to build up the citadel and to roll up rocks with their hands. So like all these things that they're doing to build the city. Okay. Part, like urge on, to choose a place for the roof. It says that's a dative of purpose, and it means for a house. So a place for a house, and to enclose it with a trench. Okay, then we got they choose the laws and the magistrates and a sacred senate. So, if you think about it, he is explaining it to the Romans in a way you can understand, kind of like you could compare this passage with the Druids' passage of Caesar. Okay? So, here, some dig out harbors. Here, some place foundations, or place high foundations for theaters and huge columns. I forgot this verb on the last page. So they cut out huge columns from the last slide from cliffs. Right? The high decorations for future theaters. Okay, so now starts this B simile. What Latin word tells me that it's a simile? Qualis, right? Okay.
But like Volti also,
No. Qualis. Qualis.
Are you talking about Volutes or something? Yeah, but what word is that then?
Just as.
Yeah. That is that.
Oh, yes. Wellut.
Okay, yeah.
Wellut. Yes. Or qualis. Yeah, wellut or qualis. Okay. So my subject here is all the way down here in this next line, okay? Because this is like apis or something like that. Apis. Okay? So I know that that's plural. Okay? So I know I'm looking for a singular subject here. Does that make sense? Okay. So we got such labor exercises bees in the new summer through the flowery countryside under the sun. Okay, so he's kind of setting the scene here. Okay, what happens in the springtime?
Baby season.
People have babies. That's right, and that's exactly what happens next. Okay, when they lead out. I don't really understand this part. The full-grown young, the adult offspring of the race.
So like the most fit and the best oldest.
That makes me really sad.
Like the survivest of the fittest? I don't know. What do you think that means?
Imagining like
Maybe it's like the oldest.
people like pulling out like full grown.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know.
Maybe it means like literally like the oldest of the young.
Or like that's when people come of age, like when you graduate or something? I don't know.
Like when you're born is when you come of age.
I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was kind of weird myself. Or, so moving on.
Wait, can you repeat that? I did not.
Okay, so when they lead out the adult offsprings of the race. Okay, Or when they stuff the liquid honeys. Okay, but be careful here. How did I know that this was when and not with? Because if you look at this, if you were just like crazy translating along, right, you probably try to make it ablative because they didn't give you the long marks and you see coup, right? So how are you going to know not to do that?
Just translating in general.
Nope, not a subjunctive verb.
I mean, like, it sounds better with a word. No, I mean, like, in translating in general, like, sometimes it just sounds
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it just sounds better. Okay, if you like are flipping out, scan it.
like, or with, they stuff the liquid honey, so it doesn't sound
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Well, or you could like try what?
We have to add a say.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so I guess I'm saying is don't overthink it. Okay, and they stretch the cells with sweet nectar. Or they receive the burdens of those arriving, of those coming. Like of the bees coming. I guess you gotta put a bees in here.
So is this also an afro of the wording? Polysyndeton?
Yeah, look. Yeah. Or with the battle line having been, or with a line having been made. I don't really think it's a battle line. With a line having been made. Okay, they defend the drones a lazy herd from the hives. I don't really know that much about beekeeping, do y'all? Do you know anything from your class at Sprouts?
Ooh, where do you mean? Yeah. Yeah, like the Christmas messages.
So they have like worker bee drones and then like pretty boy drones?
So wait, I have a question. What happens to all the girl bees? Are they like they're nurses for Oh.
Or they're like mean girls and then the queen kills them because she
Well,
didn't
I
want to
thought
be.
the males could only mate with the queen. Oh, the queen's babies. Oh, yeah, right, that makes sense. So wait, so basically it's all like inbreeding.
Yeah. Okay. The work glows and the work glows and smells of fragrant, no, that's probably not right, It smells of fragrant honey with thyme, like like parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, not like TIME. Okay, so how does Aeneas react? He exclaims to himself, "O fortunate ones, whose walls now rise." What does that mean? Well, it means that, he's expressing his own longing to found the city that has been destined to him, and he's like jealous of whoever this person is that has already realized their dream.
Really deep.
Yes. Right? So I mean, I think you could make a PA Tots moment out of that in an essay somewhere, right? Okay, so Aeneas says this, and he looks up at the summits of the city. Okay, he literally, it's like he brings himself, you could say he proceeds, he brings himself having been enclosed by the cloud, okay, wonderful to see. This is a supine. Right? The thing you need to know about supines is that they exist. Through the middle. And he mixes, let's do both. And he both mixes with the men and it says this is dative, sorry. It's a dative of agent. No, yeah, dative with misket. Okay. He mixes with the men and is not seen by any. So basically, it's like every crazy cartoon where you're like, he's in the bubble so he could see things out there, but he can't be seen by the people outside.